This video is designed to help you understand the relationship between sentence fragments and complex sentences. First, it's important to remember that complex sentences are good. We want complex sentences in our writing. It is a good sign. Sentence fragments, on the other hand, are a negative thing. We don't want these in our writing. So we need to understand what a sentence fragment is when we are trying to make complex sentences. This is a high frequency moment where students write and they try to use complex sentences, but they end up making a fragment. And the good news is that once you understand the relationship between complex sentences and sentence fragments, you can easily fix them. And that's what this video will focus on. First of all, you must understand that complex sentences use subordinating conjunctions. Words like because, although, if, when, before, whether, and whereas, just to name a few. These are really some of the high frequency subordinating conjunctions, okay? Now the basic format of a complex sentence is that there is a part one of the sentence, there's a conjunction, subordinating conjunction, or a part two. Okay, so it's part one, subordinating conjunction, part two. The other format is that the sentence starts with the subordinating conjunction, has a comma, and then part two. For example, if I use the subordinating conjunction when, I might say, I like sports when I have a lot of energy. So the word when is a subordinating conjunction connecting part one and part two. Or I could say, start with the subordinating conjunction and say, when I have a lot of energy, comma, I like to play sports. So what's very important about the complex sentences is that there's really a part one and a part two. And what makes complex sentences interesting is that you can have the conjunction in between, or you can start with the conjunction. Now, of course, I'm going to show you examples. One of the most critical factors when writing is that students sometimes put a full stop between the parts. And you should not have a full stop, you should have a comma. I'll show you some examples. Okay, let's take a look at these. This is a high frequency subordinating conjunction because. Because there are a lot of issues, full stop, I will take action. Now this is clearly wrong. Take away the full stop, put a comma. Now you have an excellent complex sentence. If you put the full stop here, you have a fragment, and that is a negative thing. Put back the comma. This is part one, and this is part two. This is the format where you start with the conjunction, and then there's a comma. The other option, of course, is to say, I will take action because there are a lot of issues. This is also a fragment, so I'm going to fix it by taking away the full stop. I'm going to put a small letter. Okay. I will take action because there are a lot of issues. The subordinating conjunction is in the middle, so no comma is necessary. But a full stop, if you put a full stop, it makes it a fragment, and it makes it a major sentence error for your writing. So I want you to be really careful. Here's another example with although, which is a subordinating conjunction of contrast. Although there are a lot of problems, comma. I choose to do nothing. I choose to do nothing, although there are a lot of problems. Now look at this sentence, and what do you think? Is it correct or incorrect? It's correct. Although is connecting this part, there are a lot of problems, and it's connecting I choose to do nothing. No comma, nothing's necessary. Try another one. If I had money, full stop, I would help the poor. Is this okay? No, it's not. The subordinating conjunction is in the middle, is in the beginning, comma. If I had enough money, I would help the poor people. This is a complex sentence, and it's a positive thing for your writing. Or you could say, I would help the poor people if I had the money. This is the other possibility where you put the subordinating conjunction in the middle. Subordinating conjunction of time. When? When I see a problem, I fix it. Clearly? Comma. I fix it when I see a problem. Again, it's important to notice that when you start with the subordinating conjunction, you put a comma after the first part. But when it is in the middle, you don't need it. Let's look at a text and see how we're doing. In today's world, we see lots of environmental problems. For instance, there are serious issues with the rainforest, the oceans, and the air. Although these problems may seem impossible to solve, comma, we do have people working hard to fix them. Now let's take a look at this sentence and ask ourselves, is it okay? Is it a correct, complex sentence? Although these problems may seem impossible to solve, comma, we do have people working hard to fix them. So ask yourself, is it correct? The answer is, it is correct. It starts with the subordinating conjunction. Part 1, although these problems may seem impossible to solve, and then there's a comma, and then part 2. We do have people working hard to fix them. So that's an effective use of a complex sentence. Okay, let's continue. For example, many new companies are developing green technology because they know that people want to do business with companies that are good for the earth. Okay, here's another subordinating conjunction. So let's check to see how we're doing. Our complex sentence, is it okay or is it not okay? Because they know that people want to do business with companies that are good for the earth. That's a bit confusing. That's because this is a fragment. This must be connected to something else. So let's take a look at the sentence before. For example, many new companies are developing green technology. Why are they developing green technology? I think here's the reason. Because they know that people want to do business with companies that are good for the earth. So here we go. That was a fragment, and it created confusion. Now, this idea, they know that people want to do business with companies that are good for the earth, is now connected to the idea that many new companies are developing green technology. Why? Because they know that people want to do business. So this is an example of the subordinating conjunction in the middle. Notice there's no comma, there's no full stop. This one was an example of a good complex sentence with no issues. Although these problems may seem impossible to solve, comma, we do have people working hard to fix them. Okay. Now, one last issue with some of these sentences is sometimes people put a comma after although, and that's wrong. So don't do it. This flows all together. Although these problems may seem impossible to solve, see, all that flows together. You don't need a comma here. Okay, quick review. Basic format. Part 1, subordinating conjunction. Part 2. Subordinating conjunction. Part 1, comma. Part 2. I hope this video helps. Thank you.